fear of, I don't want to talk about this right now. Like, I'm not old enough to talk about this.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
exactly.
at what age is the right age?
Right.
So I'm glad that I finally got that checked off my list. And then when you do it, you realize how seamless it is. And it's such an accomplishment.
It's huge.
And then you get home and you say, okay, here's this information.
Right.
This is where you can find it. Look for the pink folder,
Well, welcome back to another episode of the Thank Me Later Show with me, your host, Jini Thornton, where we help you master your money and transform your life. So y'all know this is our special segment. This is our legacy building segment where we have the opportunity to touch base and tap in with some of the amazing women who have been part of our Black Women Will event. So today I am welcoming back our guest, Coriya Burns. Hey, Coriya.
Hi, Jini. Thank you.
Happy that you're here with us again. So before we start talking about your journey to building your legacy and being a part of the class of 2023.
Yes, 2023.
Class of 2023 with Black Women Will. Just share with people a little bit about who you are and what you do with all the amazing things that you have going on.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version.
Yes, the Cliff Notes.
So I am General Sales Manager for Radio 1 in Atlanta. That is the home of Ricky Smiley on Classics 102.9, Steve Harvey on Magic 107.5, 97.5. Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell on Praise 102.5, and The Morning Hustle on Hot 107.9. Sorry, I have to represent my brain.
I know.
Right?
Listen, that was a perfect commercial for them, right?
Absolutely. So that is my 9 to 5. But my 5 to 9 is I am a mindset coach where I help women with abandoned goals, whether it was due to family, careers, or failed attempts. And I am an avid traveler, and I now have stumbled into being a tour operator.
I love that. And thank you for sharing all the different parts, of who you are, what you do. One thing that I just want you to touch on, you just talked about abandoned dreams. Mm-hmm. And so what do you mean by that?
So I think women are great ideation people. We have all these great ideas, but sometimes we can get off track with our own personal goals because we're so in tune to trying to help everybody else get to their goal.
Right.
I think women, many women anyway, are famous for that. Let me help you. Let me figure out how I can help. Many of us are helpers and we're servants by nature, and sometimes I think we can abandon our goals. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's our careers.
Life is life.
Right. And sometimes we failed at it when we were 19 and think we can't do it again. But I am a living witness that you can start over at any age and not even necessarily start over. You don't start from scratch. You start from experience.
I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing that because I want people to know, women to know that it's just never too late.
Never.
It's never too late. So you were one of the amazing women of our class of 2023. There was 185 amazing women.
Wow.
And so tell me, how did you even end up signing up with us? Like, what was it? How did you know about us? Was it me or was it Tiana, our marketing director? How did you get connected?
I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, you guys had talked about it, the year before at Faith Board Experience. And I thought to myself, there is no way I'm letting them come back next year. And I haven't done this because how could I? How could I have you in front of people, that I'm bringing into the room and I haven't gone through the process myself? That was number one. And then number two is, of course, you keep seeing people go through these situations with family. And I just said, I will not be a GoFundMe or a catfish fry recipient. It just will not happen. We're not going to do it. So.
And what do you think kept you from doing it before? Because that's the thing, Black Women Will is designed for women just like you.
Right.
Amazing, professional, who've accomplished a lot, educated. Like, y'all are just some of the baddest chicks in the game. But there's been a barrier. And I like to talk about that because this is an opportunity for women to know that you're not the only one.
Right.
It's really about it's probably about 76% of Black people, regardless of income or assets, have not gotten their documents done. And so what was your barrier?
So I think for me, it was two barriers. It was embarrassment that I hadn't done it yet. You know, I am 50 and I still don't have anything in place. And then the other part of that is not knowing what to do. Like, where do I start? Like, do you just call a random attorney? Are there people who specialize in this? I mean, I honestly didn't know, where to start. And I think for a lot of people now, me referring women now, one of their barriers is simply, I don't want to talk about that yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that. It's too early for me to talk about that.
Right. And that's interesting for us. And it seems to be very cultural for us. Not that we're happy to talk about death or transition, but it's very taboo in our community.
It is.
Which is creating a lot of challenges for us, because I think what we think once we start talking about it, then people think it's going to happen right now.
Absolutely. That, like I said, that fear of, I don't want to talk about this right now. Like, I'm not old enough to talk about this.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Exactly.
at what age is the right
age? Right.
So I'm glad that I finally got that checked off my list. And then when you do it, you realize how seamless it is. And it's such an accomplishment.
It's huge.
And then you get home and you say, okay, here's this information.
Right.
This is where you can find it. Look for the pink folder.
Pink folder. Absolutely. So what did you learn about yourself after going through the process?
You know what? I learned that I wasn't as disorganized as I thought.
Okay.
But I think that's part of the process, though. The way that you guys have us to bring, because you think, oh my goodness, I got to dig through these boxes. I got to call my mama, my grandmama, my great aunt, my great auntie. I got to look for the family tree. I mean, seriously,
no, I understand.
I got to get everybody's health records. I got to do this, and you think that it's going to be this taxing situation.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you something else. Not only did I learn a lot about myself, I learned new things about my family.
Really?
That I did not know. Well, what do you mean Aunt Jean was married to this man and they were from where? And I got relative. It was so incredible. And I just thought, man, if half of my family did this.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. How has it changed the conversations in your family?
It has changed the conversations in my family greatly, because now people know, don't call me. Don't you call me and ask me to give you nothing if you have not taken this advice. Right. And I don't mean that in you can't call and ask me for anything. Let me not say it that way. But they do know that the first thing I'm going to ask them is your stuff in order?
Absolutely.
Do you have it in order? Mm-hmm. My one of my great aunts, just passed away, and her great granddaughter is the one who was responsible for getting all this stuff together. Not the daughter, not the granddaughter, but the great granddaughter who follows me online, who I probably haven't seen since she was 6.
Right.
Thank you for helping me get all of this information together. So it changes the conversations. And I will tell you this, the people you think will won't.
Right.
And the people you think won't will.
Yeah. And I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's part of why a lot of people don't end up getting their affairs in order, is because in your head you think, oh, my sibling should take care of this, or my parents should. And those people are not capable or qualified.
Right.
And we get stuck there versus saying, you know what, that is just the truth. And that's why my best friend is in charge, or why my cousin is in charge, or whomever it is.
Right.
Because we don't want to stand in the truth. It's just the truth. We can't change those facts. And we all have crazy families. I don't know why people think it's only certain people. We all have that dynamic.
Yeah.
We all, and it's just the truth, but we have to have some order.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just a commitment to me. Don't tell me that you love me. Show me that you love me.
Oh boy.
By putting these things in order.
Right.
What it has helped me with, Coriya, is just having some candid conversations with some folks too, to say, hey, because I'm sure you're like me. You're kind of the person in your family that's kind of in charge. You have to be, because that's how you show up in the world. Yeah. I don't mind having that responsibility, but let me just make sure that you understand how that's going to work if I'm the one in charge.
Right.
These are the things that we're going to have together. So I think it's empowered me to be able to say that versus I'm not doing this and I'm not. No.
Goodness,
I'm here to help you, but this is what the part that I need you to do.
Right.
And I have now seen people really just kind of step up and get their things in order.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and start communicating and sharing information. So I think that's critically important.
Yeah, I'm very happy that now even my mother, you know, she had certain things in place. Come on now. You got your retirement.
Right.
You got
Right.
you got this, that, and the other. But now so many other things are in order and I know exactly what she wants.
Right.
There's no question. There's no, wondering,
huge.
did she want this or did she want there are no open-ended questions.
Right.
Everything has a period at the end of exactly what I want and how I
you
want
say
it to
that.
happen.
I appreciate that. And really where Black Woman Will comes from is, my mother died when I was 29 and every single thing was in order.
Wow.
I didn't have to look for one piece of paper. I didn't have to make one single decision. I was empowered to just mourn.
Wow.
And not be scrambling and, we were young and already had 2 kids and married. She lived out of state. There was just so much to do,
Wow.
but every single thing was laid out.
That is such a blessing.
And that's exactly what, to me, it was the gift that just kept on giving. And that taught me that's what I need love to look like.
Right.
We have to have some order and we have just gotten used to chaos and death.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm like, this is not okay, people.
Right.
This
Babies, weddings, and funerals. Like, no. We're not going to do that anymore.
How has it changed the conversation with your friends?
I think the conversation with my friends now is, we have to be more responsible than our parents were. I know you said your mother,
Right.
Had everything in order. I can't say that I've seen that a whole lot, though.
Right.
So the conversation is now, the conversation now is, if they didn't do it, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
And now the hope is everybody behind me will absolutely do it.
It's about modeling the behavior now.
Correct. Now Bryce knows, this is the way mom has it set up.
Right.
And hopefully he'll do the same thing with
Right.
his family.
And I appreciate you sharing that too, because that's another thing that's been important to me, or to David and I, is that our kids know, like, this is where everything is.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is who you need to call. So it's not about me being paranoid or obsessed with death, but I'm like, I just need to know that there's order.
Right.
Our youngest son lives in Houston now. And when he came home, I do kind of this fire drill with him. I'm like, okay, let's go to the safe. I know you've opened it before. Like, open it up. Okay, here are the documents. Pull out your cell phone. Who's the lawyer? Who's the accountant? Because I just need to know, like, under stress or duress, they can get going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's really important too, is just, again, it's not to keep them afraid, but it's
Right.
all about preparation. to me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And out in the open, too. Because
Yes.
I remember my mother telling me when she was a little girl that the insurance man used to come around, like
Right.
on Saturday morning.
And knock on your door.
And knock on the door, and he had his little notepad. She said, I knew he was the insurance man,
Right.
but that's it. I didn't know anything else. Like, I didn't know what he did. I didn't know why he was there. I didn't know how much. She knew none of that. She just knew that this man was coming around, with this notepad collecting the money every Saturday.
And literally we're making payments weekly back then.
Definitely.
At the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That is crazy, but that is really true. Yeah. So one last story I want to tell you. The other thing that inspired me to do Black Woman Will is when I was 12, my grandfather died, and my mother took me to the reading of his will. Wow. At 12. Changed my whole life. I was like, this is crazy. So, because my mom was different. We went everywhere. There was no like, kids are here. Anywhere she went, we could go to. And I literally went to the reading of the will.
Wow.
And my grandfather, who was not wealthy, was not educated, had everything just laid out.
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom. So I was like, oh, this is dope. But I could see how shocked everybody was.
Right.
Everyone didn't know what he had.
Right.
My step-grandmother was up there like, what in the world was going on? But there was no question. I'm
Absolutely.
like, okay, this is what commitment looks like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. All right, I think we have a Thank Me Later question on the hotline today that we need to answer.
Hi, I'm Kim from Atlanta. I've been purposeful about speaking my intentions and doing my vision board, sometimes even multiple times throughout the year. And I try to regularly stay positive and focused on my goals. But how do you stay patient with the process and maintain stamina without getting discouraged, just when you don't see anything happening yet?
Before you answer that, I just want to give some context when you talked about you being a coach,
Yes.
and you helping women go through this whole process of these abandoned goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so happy to have this question since we have our coach with us today.
So this is an interesting question because, while women will abandon their goals, when they bring the goals back up, a lot of times there's the goal, I'm gunning, I'm gone. I'm running. There it is. I'm going for it, and I'm not going to stop. And the reason why they never get there sometimes is that's it. They just start gunning for that one goal. Where's the plan? Where's the plan? How are you going to break? If you had no time in May, and now it's August, and now you all of a sudden want to accomplish this goal, where's the time going to come from? Where's the commitment going to come from? So you've got to take those goals, and the way, I think she said, how do you stay motivated? You've got to take that goal. You need to break the goal down into mini goals, and then you need to take those mini goals and you need to break them out in tasks. Because if you're always going after a task that then leads you to a mini goal, 9 times out of 10, you're checking something off the list
Progress.
all the time. But if you have no plan, and the thing is, I'm going to get that goal. We talked when I first got here today about 50 pounds later. This is 2.5 years in the making.
Right.
But the goal
you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you so much. I had to have a big goal up here.
Right.
And then I had to have mini goals, and those mini goals had to be tied to task. And some of those tasks were, not eating after 8 o'clock. And it took me 6 months
to get that one down, right?
To do that, working in radio.
My husband's over there laughing right now. We're working on that goal right now, aren't we, honey?
Right. But that's a task that gets you to
Yes.
a mini goal. And then once you check that off, you go to the next one and the next one.
Right.
And it feels like you're always accomplishing something.
Right.
And that will keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
That will keep you excited.
I appreciate that because the way you describe it, that's very tangible to me versus like, I'm going to whatever, quit my job or start my new business.
There you go.
But how are you going to get there? What are the steps to actually get there? I feel more empowered with that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So a couple more questions for you before we go. So I know you've been with Radio 1 29 years.
This month, 29 years.
Girl, I don't even know what to say.
I don't either.
What has kept you there so long?
You know what? I've tried to leave 3 times. Many people don't know that. And
3 times.
It seemed like every time I got ready to leave, there was another level for me. I think, whether it was boredom or whether, no matter what it was another level that I went on to achieve. And then I think once I get kind of complacent, and then it's something else. I never planned to be at Radio 1 past a few months.
Right.
I came there as a temp in college, thinking I'm just going to take this job so I don't have to eat ramen noodles every day. Some days are okay. And then I just ended up being there. And then I was a sales assistant. And then when I kind of got, okay, Mary Catherine, I'm leaving. And she says, you should be in sales. I was like, I've never sold anything. I've never had a fast food job, never had a retail job.
Right.
I worked marketing research in high school and in college. And then when I wrote my resignation letter to leave being an account manager, and then I get a call. I'm in Dubai, and I literally get a call while I'm in a taxi saying, hey, we want to, talk to you about the manager job. I was like, I don't know. I'll talk to you when I get back. My letter was already written. I had already had my date, and grateful that I didn't do that because now, another level. And I'm not saying I'm bored now.
Right.
I'm just saying that there may be some other levels out there, and I think that's what it has been. I mean, I study forestry. Mm-hmm. I have a degree in forest resource management.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Many people don't know that. Fun fact. I just threw that out there, didn't I? Like you were going to skip
forestry.
Over. Forestry.
Girl, what does that even mean?
That means I studied trees for 4 years.
That just kind of caught me off guard. But now that you said that, I think I do remember that about you.
But I owed nobody. Listen. No student loan. So I studied trees for 4 years.
Oh, my God. And have been in sales your whole career.
Pretty much.
That is
I did
hilarious.
marketing research before this. Like I said, I even ran a marketing research department while I was in college.
Right.
And yeah, I've been in sales.
So what do you want your legacy to be in radio? Since we're talking about legacy, what do you want your radio legacy to be?
That is such a great question.
Think about that.
You know what? I would love for my legacy to be that I was always a cheerleader. And the other day, somebody called me that, and I didn't really know how to take it. You know, it was like, oh, okay, does that mean I'm always on the sideline? You know, I had to think about it for a minute. And I can't tell you who this person is, but they were up visiting the station, and they had worked there before. And he was around, and he said, you've always been everybody's cheerleader. And I said, really? He said, yeah, when I was here, you told me not to get comfortable. And you always encouraged me. You told me to not let this be my last stop. I don't even really remember
having
the
that conversation.
Right. And he says, you've just always been everybody's cheerleader. And if I can encourage somebody to do more, to do better, to dream bigger, then I would be happy. I would be really happy with that.
And so when you think about your career, when you think about radio, your faith board experience, your coaching, your travel business, what are you most proud of?
The influence that I've had on my son with all of those things.
Right. Because they are watching us.
They are watching and soaking it up like a sponge. You know, I never thought that my career in radio would even give Bryce a small inkling to maybe want to do broadcasting. Now, he's probably going to stay close to the game of soccer.
Right.
But he's talked about trying to figure out a way to marry those two things. I never thought that pursuing my dreams of being a mindset coach and writing a book about goals or a journal would cause my son to watch me and say, you pursuing your dreams has really helped me turn the corner. I never thought that, you know, saving my coins, as they say, and putting them to the side and taking my son to places that I had never thought or imagined would cause him to want to attend school in Rome, Italy.
Right.
I never thought that. So I believe that my influence on him would be what I want to live.
And the last thing before we wrap, we both have somebody in our life who changed the trajectory of both of our careers, who is Mary Catherine Sneed. Yes. And so I just thought about that looking at you, that, you know, one person can literally change
absolutely
the course of your whole life.
Right.
And I think she's done that for both of us.
Absolutely.
And I just appreciate her management style and how she would just give, try it, let's go. You know, she empowered people.
Boy. She still does.
And she still does. I mean, an advocate. Now, you don't want to get on the wrong side of her.
You definitely don't.
And she was really an advocate for women too. I really appreciate how she made sure women had opportunity, and she just really modeled the behavior. She was the best at her job.
She is still the best. And she made sure that you didn't give up on your dreams. I mean, I just had lunch with her maybe 3 weeks ago, and she brought me this big bag of stuff with radio bomber jackets. And I'm like, Mary Catherine, I just cleaned out my closet. You're bringing me all this stuff.
Right.
But last week, I get a package, a Federal Express envelope. And I'm like, what is this? And I open it, and it is a T-shirt that says, excuse me while I travel the world.
From Mary Catherine.
From Mary Catherine.
That is so her.
That is so her.
Yeah.
It's been years since she, has left.
Right.
And many people, how many times do you work a job and people leave and they go on about their lives?
Right.
You may never
hear from them again.
Right. And she has just stayed so close to so many.
That's for sure.
And supported us.
No, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that you're doing so well. And girl, there's a part of me who wants to live vicariously through you, honey. And you're going to take me on one of these trips to Ghana.
Yes, I am.
You're going to take me. So if people want to connect with you and engage with you, whether it's coaching or travel or just because you're Coriya and amazing, how can they follow you and engage with you?
Absolutely. They can follow me on social media at Just Coriya, JustCoriya on all platforms. And then on Instagram, if you're interested in following my travel journey and my travel brand, you can follow me at Go Travel Chick. Go Travel, just like it sounds, CHICK.
Well, thank you for being here. And thank you for being such a good friend and a colleague.
Yes.
And thank you for being part of the class of 2023.
Absolutely.
And I'm so excited about your friends who now are going to be part of the class of 2024.
Yes.
We're getting ready for your crew.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate that. So for all of you watching, thank you for engaging with us with another episode of the Thank Me Later Show with me, your host, Jini Thornton, where we help you master your money and transform your life. So please like and subscribe and share and let us know what other topics you want us to cover. And we will see you next episode. Thank you, everybody.